When it comes to candidates and elections and money, one of those groups often overlooked for their donation power is a band of men and women every one of us has dealt with at some time and likely never gave a second thought as to their influence. Because when purchasing a new or used car, who really considers politics? Let's dig into this and much more. Welcome back, the syndicated automotive guru, motorsports expert, driver. No one knows more about everything on wheels than the car coach, Lauren Fix. Good to see you again, Lauren.
Good to see you too, Ed.
We will get to your Ford Mustang in just a moment. Have no fear. This kind of caught me a little bit off guard, and we've been talking about this. But U.S. auto dealers and the dealer network skew very heavily Republican. As a matter of fact, in South Florida, Norman Brayman is one of the most powerful men in the automobile industry there, and he has donated a tremendous amount of money to Marco Rubio's campaign. We never consider that, but the Republicans get a lot of money from the auto dealers.
Sure, it's absolutely about business. So if you have a business, especially like we have a dealer group here where I am, Wester Ford is the 22nd largest dealer group. They own literally pretty much every single brand all over the country, and they want to make sure that the politicians that they want in office are ones that are going to be pro-business. That's going to help them make money, still protect the consumers, and allow consumers to have more money in their pockets to buy more cars. But when you've got other people out there trying to take that away from them, such as Tesla, you can bet that the government, people in government who have been supported by dealerships are back there saying, you know, before we let Tesla sell in this state, we have to think about people like Brayman, Wester, and all the rest of them that are out there, what kind of impact that's going to make on my basically political money coming in.
Okay, very briefly then, because we've got a couple other things to talk about here, but how does Tesla work into this?
Well, Tesla wants to sell vehicles outside the dealer network. The dealer franchising laws have been in place for almost 100 years. They're there to protect you, the consumer. No bait and switch. Obviously, when you come in, that they're going to be straight up with you, whether you've had a good dealership experience or not. These rules are in place, and they are there to protect consumers. There are no rules in place when it comes to Tesla. You buy it like you buy an iPhone. When you walk out of the store, it's yours. You got a problem? There's no dealer. There's no protection, and you can't even lease the car legally because leasing goes through a dealer network, and he's not a dealer. So there's no protections.
Next up, did General Motors just catch a huge break? Because now, according to a federal judge, they cannot be sued in the hundreds of deaths and injury claims related to the defective ignition switches. This does look to some people as if GM just got away with murder.
Well, I hate to put it, get away with murder, but essentially we have had 84 deaths as of now that have been basically because of the ignition switch scenario. So one of the things that we don't know is exactly, this is because of the way the lawsuits have been settled. We don't know if the person was speeding, if they had alcohol in their system. We are just basing the deaths off the ignition switch causing the car to go in the off position. So based on that, the courts have stated, now I don't know if this has anything to do with at the top because, no government, involvement here, basically saying, that was the old GM, this is the new GM. That happened then. You have no recourse in the courts now. The new GM is what's happened from that point, from the bankruptcy forward. So there is money to be had for those people that have had accidents, but you cannot replace people no matter what the situation is.
60 seconds left. Go ahead and run on about the Ford Mustang now, because I know this is a big anniversary for you Ford lovers.
April 17th, 1964, the Ford Mustang was launched at the World's Fair in New York City. And since then, 1964 and a half was the actual time they called it, to 1965, 650,000 Ford Mustangs were sold. And because of that, Ford is still the #1 selling pony car today. They still outsell Camaro, although Camaro's got a new car coming out. We'll get a chance to test drive that. But the key thing is, Ford Mustang is still there. Everyone has a Mustang story, whether you're my age, older, younger, everyone has a story. They remember their neighbor, their friend, their brother, their uncle, and it's really great to see the heritage and the car still there and still exciting to drive.
I got one. My grandmother, my granny, God rest her soul, when she passed away, she left behind a 1965 white Mustang with about 13,000 miles on it. And it got sold out from underneath me.
Oh, no.
I was too young to keep it, and I still think about that car every day because my God, it was really the little old lady who drove a Mustang to church every Sunday. That's exactly what it was. So
a lot of people are original owners, still have those cars. I mean, I've got cars from, I started buying them from '79, but they're above them.
One day we'll talk about my 1970 version too. Lauren Fix at laurenfix.com. Always a pleasure. Take care. Best to you and the family.
Thank you. Same to you.
Take care. When we come back, 45 years ago today, the world held its breath because of what would happen to 3 men.